Oh, um, you're back? Well, maybe I should properly introduce myself since we are going to be sharing lots of confused brain space. I like movies. I'm sure you do too. So let's get down to the brass tacks. You know what a movie is, right? That's good. So do I. See, I love watching a movie with a simple plot, lots of, or no rewrites, and some not great to fantabulous acting. Everything else is pretty much a crapshoot. You'll never really know what you'll get until you watch it. This is why I'm here. I want to share with you some of my favorite Hamburger movies, and discover some new ones as we go along. Does that sound burgerful? Nice. Nice. Okay. Bobby, can we roll the tape? Roll the tape. The intro tape. Yeah. No. The one on the left. Yeah. Okay. Oh my God, what's taking so long? What's taking so long? This is a home studio. You're 5 feet away from me.
Tell me, how many times do I need to flush before you go away, huh?
Ooh.
That's funny. Yeah.
You know what's funnier than that?
What?
Your mother amounting to nothing more than a burger flipper at Jerry's Diner.
Oh! Oh!
Professor! Professor Van Helsing!
I'm sorry.
Oh my God. What have I done?
He's here.
Who's here?
Simon Magus.
Okay, who's that?
He's a skinwalker, a creature that's capable of absorbing human flesh to camouflage itself as a man.
No way!
Hey guys, welcome back to Hamburger Theater, the strange world of B movies, bad movies, cult movies, D movies, exploitation flicks, Z-grade pictures, and everything in between. I am Andre, your host. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about the adventures of young Van Helsing and the quest for the lost scepter. Yeah, this was a movie released in 2004, I believe, made by Totality Films. The totality of their catalog is pure... This is a magnificent action-adventure set piece for kids? Teens? Dogs? No. This is a movie very clearly inspired by the likes of Indiana Jones, The Mummy, and Van Helsing, a much better movie starring Hugh Jackman, but not much better than that. However, this has nothing to do with Van Helsing. We meet Van Helsing, vampire hunter extraordinaire, as he fights a bald vampire in a well-lit cemetery. His trusty sidekick, who is totally not a white kid in makeup wearing a turban, takes cover behind a headstone, protecting the ancient MacGuffins of the movie. Then there's an earthquake, and then cut to present day. So now we meet Michael Harris, a young teen who loves to rock out with his band and drink his aunt's lemonade in the garage. Pretty typical kid, huh? Then we have the Professor Arad. Arad? Doesn't really matter since we don't even hear his name. Who is a kooky dude because he can't speak without looking at his cue cards or just jerking around. He looks like Professor Einstein went out for a tan and imbibed in psychedelics before realizing he was burnt to a crisp. Now, the cue card thing. This is mostly funny, but also infuriating at points. But don't let that get to you. The truly amazing thing is how the director was totally fine with the actor playing the professor stopping mid-sentence and then repeating the same word he stopped on previously. I counted every single time he did this. It's a lot of times.
Are you trying to tell me that my, great-great-grandfather was a monster chaser?
Well, technically speaking, he was a collector of incredible renown and fortitude, as was his son and his son. They were all Van Helsings. Abraham Van Helsing, my grandfather's boss, was actually a of his and collected and actually such for various reasons that were set to prevent such acquisitions. What your father was working on before his death.
And what kind of movie would this be without a good old bad guy? Enter Simon
Magus.
Whatever. And he just wants to kill everyone so he can find his ancient Walkman CD player. It's hard to miss. It looks ancient, has strings and some words on the front, and it's got two metal things in the center that spin to let you know when a holy event is taking place. Holy event, Batman. Is that useful? The other MacGuffin is a lesser known artifact, and something the writers forgot to make clear that it's way more important, called the, what is it? Oh, the Scepter of God. It's in the title. When you see it, it's a surprisingly tiny scepter for something so omnipotent and world-bendingly huge as God. So now, Michael has to accept that he is the new Van Helsing. Find and kill Simon Magus. Find and kill Simon Magus, and play the Valentine's dance in an abbreviated period of less than 90 minutes. Oh, man. And all the while, Michael has this really weird, creepy love interest, because she's already going out with another guy. And the guy who plays the dude that she is going out with just looks so tired, like physically exhausted, and unenthusiastic. And he's surprisingly the only one who seems unenthusiastic in this motion picture. Regardless of anything else in this movie, camera work and the makeup effects, some of the death effects, things like that, are really good. Everything else is pretty shitty though. But that's why I'm talking to you about this. So, moving on. In this movie, the tropes are evident. We've got a reluctant hero, Michael, his close-knit group of friends, there's only really his fat best friend that kind of fucks everything up, and the bumbling professor. He's not a good actor at all.
This is bad. This is very bad. It was never meant to be brought back. This is bad. I'm sorry. I never actually had to use one of these.
That's why I'm your assistant.
Do be careful, dear boy.
Professor, I think we found something. I think we have it.
Fascinating. This is absolutely fascinating stuff.
Yeah, well then I think you'll be pleased with this.
Have the scans come through?
Yes, they have.
Good. That's really good.
Alright, so there's this little weird sequence. Here's the sequence with note. Michael and his friend leave school to go back to his house, Michael's house, for a little bit of band practice. This scene is great!
Yeah! Slap some peanut butter on this jam!
It is a lot of fun. First, it kicks off right into the song they're practicing. Right away, the song that they're playing screams Christian rock. If you don't know what Christian rock is, think Creed and Nickelback, something will make having a baby, demonic offspring, that sort of thing. The thing that should not be. And the bassist, Danny, is just getting way too into his part. Everyone is playing the music, it looks natural, but every time it cuts back to Danny playing the bass, he just gets way too into it. He's bobbing his head like crazy. He's wearing a hat. He's wearing a hat during the scene, and every time he hits his notes, he just jerks his head around, and his his hat ends up flying off of his head, rather, and you just kind of stare at him thinking whatever happened with his parents. But anyway, Danny is getting way too into his slow bass groove. I'm talking even quarter notes in a 4/4 groove for you shredheads out there. And at some point, Michael's aunt comes in with some lemonade, listening to the song, bobbing her head, looking like she's having a good time. But then Danny, the bassist, knocks over the lemonade in a clumsy, hilarious stunt. Lemonade spills everywhere, and Danny's bass guitar falls off of his body inexplicably and rockets right into the bass drum. Not even the drummer cares about that or notices. I have never met a drummer that has never noticed or cared about the well-being of their own instrument. Yes, drums are still an instrument. Have you ever seen Whiplash? What about drumline? So now the aunt has to clean the lemonade spill, and she has to do it because everyone is offering to help her clean up this mess. But she says, no, I will do it. It isn't like it's hot chocolate. Remember the old Swiss Miss incident of '97, right? And after this incident, while Michael's aunt is still in the garage, the backup guitarist decides to freestyle rap for Michael's hot aunt in an attempt to woo her. But seriously, if you were an aunt, female, carrying lemonade, got it spilled all over the place, and there was a band right in front of you, what would you do when this happened?
Guys, cut it off. Didn't mean to make your tray fly. Danny apologized 1,000,000,000 times. Yo, I'm sorry, Miss Harris. Yeah, but you are for real.
And Preston, you're for real too.
Creep alert. Anyway, this moment passes, and now that the band has stopped, Danny's Ritalin kicks in at the wrong time. Danny focuses hardcore on a trunk in the garage. I don't know how he saw this trunk, because it's covered with a towel, and then it's covered with at least a few boxes that he has to clear off before he can even pull it out to take a good look at it. But he does, because it has to happen, I guess. And Michael's trying to get Danny's attention away from the trunk and back to the band, because, hey, we're still in band practice.
Danny, come on.
Hey, yo, my boy's all focused up now.
So the kids in the band do the only thing that they can. They exchange burns. Burns so hot, your chestnuts are gonna need a little butter because they're slightly elevated temperature. It's not really that comfortable. You're gonna need something to cool them off. You don't want to eat them just yet. You're gonna burn your tongue. So maybe you should soak them in water.
Damn! You gonna try to remember something from when you were a kid? Dog, you can't remember how to tie your own shoes. And when you do, you're showing enough crack to start a national park.
Yeah, and it'll be long enough to charge admission and hide the Eiffel Tower.
Nah, dog, for real. You my brother. My brother on Chrizak.
You know what, Anthony? You should take your act on the road, like today. Yeah, we can even open up the trunk and help you pack.
Maybe somebody opened your uncle's mail.
And then Danny spins us a yarn of when he used to commit felonies opening people's mail in the worst segue in a movie ever seen.
It's not like I knew you then. I'll never forget how that thing looked. I knew whatever it was, I wanted to keep it.
And in that terrible segue, he admits to opening a package that was Michael's uncle's to be sent to Michael. This detail flies by so fast. You will miss it if you don't pay attention on this one little dialogue line. And chances are, if you ever see this, why would you do this? Ever see this movie, you're gonna miss it the first time. Trust me.
This is so cool, man. This is like super cool.
None of this is making any sense, okay?
Oh, sure it is. Come on.
Alright, so after all this is over, you're left with an adventure movie that makes promises it can't realistically keep. That's fine. When this movie failed to deliver on one front, it brought up intriguing alternatives that highlighted many poor choices on pretty much every other front. This is done in such a way that the near immediate reaction, at least from me, is pure enjoyment through Schadenfreude. In fact, I heartily recommend being in a small group while this is happening to your faces so that you can look around in your small group of friends to reassure yourselves that you are still, in fact, somewhat sane. Hold on. I've just been informed of a developing personal matter. I have been identified as a descendant in a moderately long line of... I'm not saying this. God damn it, Bobby. You made me do this live? That's it. No. No, you stop it. You stop it, Bobby. No. No, Bobby. At least he's good at one thing. Hey, Bobby, roll the credits, please. Thank you. Yeah, you're fired.
Brush. Notice the inscription on the dragons. The legend of Merlin's spells are true.
I knew she had it. All along. Ha! Morgan Le Fay. Morgan Le Fay, I presume.
You lied, Professor! You lied! You said happy ending! Happy ending! Ah! Ah!
Actually, we do. You see, the Kilvicula Salaminus, holy incantation. The Kilvicula Salaminus, holy incantation. Actually, we do. You see, Kilvicula Salaminus, holy incantation. The Kilvicula Salaminus, holy incantation. The Kilvicula Salaminus, holy incantation. The Kilvicula Salaminus, holy incantation. Actually, we do. You see, Kilvicula Salaminus, holy incantation. The Kilvicula Salaminus, holy incantation.
You have been listening to Hamburger Theater. This was a production by Andre Couture. Additional production and emotional support provided by Benjamin Marks. All audio from the film is meant to aid in discussion and review of this movie. The film I saw was The Adventures of Young Van Helsing, The Quest for the Lost Scepter, directed by Kevin Summerfield, written by Craig Clyde and Kevin Summerfield, released in 2004 by Totality Films, starring Keith Jordan as Michael Harris, Ned Narang as Professor Arad, and Joe Zatso as Simon Magus. Hungry for more? Look for Hamburger Theater on the webs real soon. Don't do drugs.